Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have an advanced level lesson for you guys all about food. What kind of food are we talking about today, Marco?
Today we're talking about cheese. So there's so many different types of cheese, so many varieties. So we're going to take a look at these varieties. You may know them or not, but we're also going to take a look at the pronunciation because most of them are either Italian or French. So how do you pronounce these in maybe in American English?
Good question. Let's listen to our dialogue for the first time, and we'll be back in a moment to talk about the wonderful world of cheese.
Hello everyone, my name is Lori and I want to welcome you to this course. We will learn all about one of the oldest yet most delicious foods on this planet, cheese. Let's get started. Cheese is usually categorized into 4 types: soft, semi-soft, semi-hard, and hard. The designation refers to the amount of moisture in the cheese, which directly affects its texture. Making cheese is an ancient practice dating back thousands of years, and the home cheesemaker can usually find recipes for cheese that fall into any of the 4 categories. Soft cheese includes cottage cheese, cream cheese, ricotta, brie, blue, roquefort, mozzarella, Munster, and similar cheeses. These cheeses generally pair well with fruit or meats and can be used as breakfast cheeses in an omelet or as pasta fillings. They are usually mildly flavored and very high in moisture. American, Colby, Kojak, and similar cheeses are in the semi-soft category. These are slightly stronger in flavor and cover a wide range of uses. Kojak cheese, a blend of Colby and Monterey Jack, is one of the most popular. This allows the sharper flavor of the Colby to be combined with the milder Jack cheese and also melts better than plain Colby. Grilled cheese sandwiches often use American cheese, and Mexican cheeses such as asadero and queso fresco are becoming more popular. Hard cheeses include Parmesan, Romano, Asiago, Swiss, Gruyere, and others. Parmesan and Romano are most familiar as the grated powder used to top spaghetti, but they are also used as accompaniments for fruit, wine, nuts, and other appetizer items. Swiss is a popular sandwich cheese and melts well, unlike some other hard cheeses.
All right, we're back. So obviously this is a very interesting lesson because it also gives us an insight onto how cheeses are categorized. I personally did not know that you had all these categories of cheeses, starting out with the soft cheeses.
That's right. So basically they're broken into these soft, semi-soft, semi-hard, and hard categories. The soft cheeses are the ones that are actually, you could touch them and they're soft. They kind of move under your finger.
Right.
And the famous ones, I think, are cottage cheese, which is almost like yogurt.
Yeah, and cream cheese is all.
And cream cheese as well. But also ricotta and brie and roquefort and mozzarella.
So, for example, these cheeses, they're usually, they're obviously very soft cheeses. Do you say cheeses or cheese or cheese-eye?
Yeah, we just say cheese normally, or different kinds of cheese. So in that case, you make the plural kinds of cheese.
Okay.
Types of cheese.
So these kinds of cheese, they are recommended, or they say that they pair well with fruits or meats. So when we talk about pairing a cheese with fruits or pairing a cheese with wine, what are we saying there?
In that case, we're saying that it's best to eat with certain kinds of food. So you can say, I would recommend pairing this red wine with lamb. But in the case of cheese, you could say, I would recommend pairing this delicious brie cheese with fruit.
Okay, so you actually have brie with fruit. Usually.
That's right. It depends on the kind of cheese. A lot of times you see mozzarella on pizzas, and so it's not paired. It's actually a part of the dish.
It's an ingredient, right?
But if you're going to eat a piece of cheese alone, you can have it maybe with some fruit.
So I guess that's the main difference between pairing and having it as an ingredient. Is pairing, you're combining it, but it's not really part of the dish.
No, and as an ingredient, it has to be in the dish to make it work. And so you have a lot of these delicious soft cheeses that you eat at breakfast, or sometimes dessert, ricotta, cream cheese. These are all parts of desserts, like cheesecake, for example.
Oh yeah, what cheese? What do they use in cheesecake?
Usually cream cheese.
Oh really?
But then you get into these other cheeses, which are semi-soft or semi-hard. And semi here just means part. So it's partially hard, partially soft. And these cheeses are different because you might use them sliced on sandwiches, things like that. In this category, you have American and Colby, and Monterey Jack is also very, very popular.
So these actually do have a more American sound to it. Obviously, American cheese or Monterey Jack. That sounds a little bit different than all the Italian or French sounding cheeses that we had in the soft ones.
That's right. And you'd even have something like cheddar in this category. There's another...
Cheddar cheese.
Yeah, there's another
And
good cheese.
as you said, these are very typically put in sandwiches.
Yeah, I mean, you can use them in different ways. Sometimes we grate cheese. That means we rub it against this machine, a grater, to make it come out in these little fine pieces. For example, on top of pasta or on top of nachos. So we have grated cheese, but you can also have sliced cheese, and that's the kind of that's the way that we cut cheese to put it on a sandwich.
So, for example, if you go to McDonald's and you get a burger, usually the cheese that's on your hamburger is cheddar cheese, right?
That's right. It's a slice of cheddar cheese.
Okay. Now, moving on to our next category. Well, actually, towards the end of the different types of cheese under the semi-soft category, they also talk about Mexican cheeses such as asadero and queso fresco.
I love queso fresco.
You've had this before.
Yes, many times.
What do you usually have it with, or how do you pair it?
Usually it's an ingredient on tacos because it's a little bit crumbly. That means
Yes.
that it's like balls as opposed to being one chunk, one big piece. And so we usually have it like that. Or I've also had it as just a piece of cheese paired with a fried plantain or sour cream. Yeah.
It's actually very good. The thing with queso fresco is all of the cheese. They also depend on how mature they are, how long they've taken to make them. And queso fresco means fresh in Spanish, and this is the main I think factor in this type of cheese is that it's very, very immature. It's a very fresh cheese. You can make it in like a day or two.
Exactly. It just takes one night to sit and to become cheese, basically.
Right.
But other cheeses, and we'll see some of these in the hard cheeses, take a very long time to become their final cheese state. And one of those cheeses is Parmesan. You know, in Italy, when you buy Parmesan, they have these big wheels of it. They're circles. And you have to pay according to how old it is.
Oh, really?
18 months, 36 months. And it gets more expensive the older it is.
So obviously, the older it is, just like wine, it has a more intense flavor.
That's right. And there are special characteristics for certain ages. Sometimes people really like the young ones. It depends on your taste and what you're going to use it for. But Romano is another cheese in Italy that's used like Parmesan on top of pastas. So spaghetti, you would grate it and you put it on top of pasta.
Oh, okay. What about they also mentioned this other one, Asiago.
Asiago cheese. Swiss cheese is the one with the holes. Asiago is, I don't know if maybe it's Spanish. But then we have Gruyere, which is a French cheese, and it tends to be very, very, very strong flavored.
So I think Gruyere is the cheese that usually many people use for making fondue. So they basically have this big pot or this medium-sized pot, and all the cheese just melts, and you just dip pieces of bread or vegetables in there, and you eat this just melted cheese.
Fondue, very popular dish in Switzerland.
That's right. But yeah, these all these different types of cheese. As you said, there's so many different types, and according to the age. Now, you lived in Italy for a while, and obviously they are they're a nation that enjoy having wine and cheese very regularly, right?
That's right. And I have to say that people in Parma take their cheese very, very seriously.
How serious?
A lot of people buy these big pieces of Parmesan cheese and they keep them in the refrigerator. And you don't just put the Parmesan cheese on the spaghetti. You also break pieces of it and you eat it alone with some, a glass of wine. Or some people like to put a little drop of balsamic vinegar on top of the cheese to give it some flavor.
Oh, really?
So there are many different ways to eat it. I'm sure it's different all over the country, but mozzarella, Parmesan cheese, Romano. These are all cheeses that are very, very important in Italian culture.
It's very interesting because, well, obviously we have listeners from all over the world, but some countries have a good culture for wine, cheese, and cured meats. Like, for example, in South America, if you visit Argentina or Chile, they are a nation that actually have a lot of variety of cheese, wines, and cured meats. But if you take a trip to maybe Colombia, they're not really that type of culture that really consume cheese and wine in the same manner.
Interesting. I wonder if it has to do with the historical relationship between Europe and a place like Argentina. You know, in Argentina, there's lots of Italian former people who came over from Italy many, many years ago, right? So that might have something to do with it. Or also Spain has a very strong tradition of cured meats and cheeses. They have manchego cheese, things like this. So I wonder if there's a relationship there.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an influence in some way. But the thing with cheese, I think it's in many places it's very expensive.
It can be.
Comparatively to, if you can have a regular mozzarella cheese, but sometimes these other types, they can be very expensive.
Yeah, it's like good wine. If you really want to pay for good cheese, it's going to cost you a lot of money.
Now, what about this, the famous blue cheese? We didn't mention it, but this is a very famous French cheese that basically has mold on it.
Well, yeah, all cheese, you're growing cultures, you're growing these things that are alive, but blue cheese, you can actually see it, and it's moldy. It's white, and there's some blue or green mold.
Exactly.
And some people love it, and some people hate it. I think it's it depends on your tastes, but it does have a very strong flavor.
Well, do you personally like it or dislike it?
I do not like blue cheese, but I love other kinds of cheeses like camembert, which is a French cheese with a very strong flavor, very stinky cheese. So it's not necessarily that it's strong. It's just that I don't like the taste very much.
Okay. Actually, it's very popular to put on salads, right?
Yes.
Blue cheese, a sauce or a dressing.
Blue cheese dressing. Yeah, that's right.
It's made out of blue cheese. It's a very interesting topic, and I'm sure that locally, many people also make, or countries have their own types of cheese. I know, for example, in Ecuador, we do have also something very similar to queso fresco, that's commonly used for breakfast. And here's an interesting thing. They put it in their cup of coffee.
No way.
So
it's cheese.
It's cheese. So basically you have coffee with milk. Very popular in Latin America, and people will take a piece of cheese and put it in their coffee. So obviously with the heat, it won't melt completely, but it will become very bendy and very soft. And then they'll have it with the coffee and the bread. So it gives it a very interesting taste. It may sound a little bit peculiar, but it actually has a very, very interesting taste, very good taste. I've had many friends try it, and they're like, "Wow, you wouldn't really think that you would probably dip cheese in coffee, but
no, it's a very unusual combination." Now, what is this special cheese called?
It's called queso de mesa, which is basically normal, common, everyday table cheese. So it's not any particular. It's very similar to queso fresco, very immature cheese.
So I'm very curious to know if in your country you also have a strong cheese culture, and if in your country you guys do have a lot of cheese, what kind of cheese is it? I know that every country has its own variety of cheeses, and some places like China aren't really into cheese. So you can let us know if your country doesn't really have that many cheese options. So we're very curious to hear about you and your taste in cheese. Let us know. Our website is englishpod.com. We hope to see you there.
All right, guys. See you later.
Bye.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
A type of cheese. Camembert. Soft, not strong. Mild. Solid product made from milk. Cheese. The way something tastes. Flavor. The way something feels. Texture. A small quantity of water. Moisture. To destroy microorganisms via elevated temperatures. Pasteurize. Nationality. American. A type of cheese. Colby. A type of cheese. Kojak. A type of cheese. Quesco. A type of cheese. Parmesan. A type of cheese. Romano. A type of cheese. Asiago. A type of cheese. Swiss. A type of cheese. Gruyere.
Let's try that faster.
A type of cheese. Parmesan. The way something tastes. Flavor. Solid product made from milk. Cheese. A type of cheese. Camembert. Soft, not strong. Mild. The way something feels. Texture. A type of cheese. Romano. Nationality. American. A type of cheese. Gruyere. A type of cheese. Colby. A type of cheese. Asiago. A type of cheese. Kojak. To destroy microorganisms via elevated temperatures. Pasteurize. A small quantity of water. Moisture. A type of cheese. Swiss. A type of cheese. Quesco.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Cheese. I love to have some cheese with a fine wine. Cheese. Where do you buy your cheese? From the local market, of course. I only want the best. Cheese. I found out the hard way that mice don't actually like cheese when my pet mouse died. Mild. Wow, that is too hot for me. Could I please have something more mild than that? Mild. What is your palate most receptive to? I enjoy mild food. Mild. The wine did not overshadow my dinner in the sense that it was mild enough to pair well with the pasta. Flavor. The chef brings out the strong flavor of the steak by seasoning with salt and herbs. Flavor. The wine of my home country is a bold and peachy flavour. It goes well with rabbit. Flavour. The flavour of Brazil during one of its festivals is of celebration and exuberance. Texture. My friend was surprised that the texture of the dinner his wife had made was similar to that of a hard rock. Texture. The texture of the wine I had just bought was dry and heavy. Texture. At first taste, I thought the wine was soft and sensual. By paying close attention to the texture, however, I realized it was rough and coarse. Moisture. I lock my cigars in an airtight case to prevent moisture. Moisture. An important factor in the success of growing of vegetables is the moisture that they receive. Moisture. My friend has to renovate his whole bathroom. There was too much moisture that it caused mold to grow on the walls.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And my name is Catherine. So, Marco, today we're talking about rent and housing.
Right, we're actually going to be moving. We're going to be going to a new apartment or a new house. And so we're going to look at all the words related to this because sometimes it can be a real hassle, right? It can be really difficult.
Absolutely. Well, you love moving, right? You were telling me how much you love moving your stuff and negotiating a new lease.
Well, I like the negotiation of the lease, but not the moving aspect.
No, I don't think anyone likes moving.
Actually, I do like it at times because then you can just throw away so many things that you have no need for and you wouldn't throw away unless you moved.
So let's go check out today's dialogue to find out what happens to the characters.
Okay, that's fine. Bye.
What happened?
That's it. My lease is up. I have to move.
What? Why? Can't you renew it?
The owner apparently is selling this place to make way for the construction of a parking lot.
Well, I can help you pack. We should start looking for a new place for you ASAP.
I think I might move in with my parents for a couple of months until I can find something. You know how hard it is to find a decent place around here. I'm gonna have to put most of my stuff in storage for a while.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help out.
Actually, would you mind looking after my pet tarantula and snake for a couple of weeks?
Sure.
All right, we're back. So, well, it's not much of a big deal. I guess if you have your parents nearby, you can just move back in with your parents.
Easier said than done.
True. We'll get to that in a little bit, but let's take a look at the words that are used today in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
All right, so this first one is an important one because generally when you're looking for a house or an apartment, there are two things you can do. You can buy a house or you can lease a house or apartment. Mm-hmm. So lease here, Marco.
It's basically to rent, right? Mm-hmm. It's a contract where you agree to pay a monthly or a quarterly fee for using that house or apartment.
So do you own your apartment or do you lease it?
No, mine, I lease. I am not a home owner yet.
Right. So owning a home is a lot more expensive at one kind of period where you have to just pay in and you have maybe a mortgage. But leasing is just a monthly fee, like you said.
So in this case, they had to leave because their lease was expired.
Exactly. So you can, at the end of a lease, do one of two things. You can stop and you can find a new apartment, or you can renew your lease.
All right, and that's our next word. To renew your lease basically means to
continue.
To continue.
And this is actually a good word because it can be used with any contract, because really a lease is a kind of contract. And so I can say, I renewed my job contract.
Or maybe a magazine subscription.
Yeah,
You
so-
renewed your magazine subscription.
It's a way of saying that you've committed to paying for the next 6 months or 1 year.
Okay. Well, and after that, as we said, the person decided to move in with the parents. So move in.
Move in, well, we can say he moved his car. He put it in a different place. But to move in is actually to change houses or to change apartments. And you're literally moving your things in, you're moving your clothes in, you're moving into a new home. So you're living in a new place.
So in this case, this person is going to live with the parents. Move in. All right. And our next word is when you have to move, you have to pack.
Okay, so you can pack a lot of things. In this case, you're packing a box with all of your belongings, your books and your pillows and all that. But you can also pack a suitcase, or you can pack luggage. So packing is putting things into something so that you can move them.
So you can carry them or take them somewhere.
Exactly.
So in this case, you have to pack your things, put them in boxes to take them to your new home. And our last word is an acronym when you said ASAP.
All right, snap. Come on, ASAP, Marco.
ASAP.
Describe this for us quickly.
All right. So ASAP is an acronym for as soon as possible.
Okay, so you often see this in the office on envelopes or emails.
Right.
So please respond ASAP, ASAP. This means please respond right away.
As soon as you can, as soon as possible. All right, so 5 great words that we've just taken a look at. Let's listen to our dialogue again, and we'll be right back.
Okay, that's fine. Bye.
What happened?
That's it. My lease is up. I have to move.
What? Why? Can't you renew it?
The owner apparently is selling this place to make way for the construction of a parking lot.
Well, I can help you pack. We should start looking for a new place for you ASAP.
I think I might move in with my parents for a couple of months until I can find something. You know how hard it is to find a decent place around here. I'm going to have to put most of my stuff in storage for a while.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help out.
Actually, would you mind looking after my pet tarantula and snake for a couple of weeks?
Sure.
All right, we're back, and we have a couple of different phrases for you. So let's look at those now in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Our first one's a little bit unusual. We heard the phrase, my lease is up. So, Marco, let's talk about this phrase, to be up.
All right, so if something is up, as in this case, the lease, it means it's expired, it's finished, right?
So it's over.
It's over.
You can also say, our time is up.
Right.
If we have a meeting. So that's all the time I have. Time to go away.
Time is up. Very good. So it's always related to time or maybe a contract, as in this case, or your lease is up.
So it means over or finished.
All right, so moving on to our second phrase.
To make way for. All right, so this is a great one. This often makes me think of kings and queens in the old days. They say, make way for the king. So you have to
Get out of the way.
Yeah, get out of the way, or to clear some space for them to move because there's too much stuff in the way. And so in this case, the owner of the apartment where the guy was living in is trying to make some space or make way for a parking lot.
Right, so he's basically going to sell the building or house and build a parking lot instead. So they are making way for the new parking lot.
They're clearing space. And this is actually really sad because my childhood home, they destroyed to make way for a larger, ugly, big
Building?
house. Yeah.
Really? See, it happens all the time. Now they're making way for malls and big buildings, and all of our little houses are destroyed. And, well, moving on to our last phrase, the person asked the friend if he would mind looking after the pet snake and tarantula.
I would mind.
You don't like snakes or tarantulas?
Well, I don't mind them as long as I don't live with them.
So would you mind? This is a nice way to start a sentence if you want to ask for a favor, right?
Exactly. So here's an alternative. Hey, Marco, can you do this for me?
I could, maybe.
I could say, Marco, would you mind doing this for me?
It's more polite.
It is more polite and it's a little bit gentler. Yeah.
So it's
And
nice. It's a nice way of asking someone for a favor.
Exactly. And that's why this is funny, because the favor is not like, would you mind watching my kitty? The favor is, would you mind watching my poisonous pets?
Right. All right. So would you mind it? But in the end, the person agreed. So it works, right?
It does work. So would you mind, so listeners, would you mind listening to today's dialogue one more time at its normal speed before we come back to you and talk more about renting an apartment?
Okay, that's fine. Bye.
What happened?
That's it. My lease is up. I have to move.
What? Why? Can't you renew it?
The owner apparently is selling this place to make way for the construction of a parking lot.
Well, I can help you pack. We should start looking for a new place for you ASAP.
I think I might move in with my parents for a couple of months until I can find something. You know how hard it is to find a decent place around here. I'm gonna have to put most of my stuff in storage for a while.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help out.
Actually, would you mind looking after my pet tarantula and snake for a couple of weeks?
Sure.
All right, so moving in now, you have different stages in your life, right? When you move out, for example, you move out of your parents' home and you live on your own, and then maybe, like in this case, you would move back in with your parents. How do you see that happening?
I see it very often. My brother just moved back in with my parents.
Really?
Yeah, I think that it depends on the person, honestly. I mean, especially because the economy has really been suffering for the last year. A lot of people are doing this because, you know, in a lot of cities in America, you can spend $1,000 to $2,000 a month for an apartment to rent.
Right.
And that's a small apartment or a shared apartment. And so I understand this is it's a better option now than it was before because everyone wants independence.
Right.
But sometimes you just can't afford it.
Exactly, and it's a cultural thing because some people move out of their parents' home maybe for college. It's very common in the U.S. to study in another city or another state, right? And but then maybe coming back home and moving in with your parents, or in other cultures, maybe they don't move out at all. Maybe they only move out once they're married.
Exactly. So a lot of people in China, I think in Shanghai specifically, don't move out of their parents' home until they're going to get married.
Right. Well, it does make sense in many big metropolis because, as you say, rent is expensive. Living on your own is expensive. And, well, you don't have anyone to share those costs with, like gas, water, electricity, even food, right? It's cheaper among more people.
And not to mention a little bit scary living on your own for the first time.
It is a little bit scary. What about having somebody move in with you? Maybe a roommate or girlfriend or boyfriend?
Ooh, that's always the big step.
The big commitment.
A big commitment. You're in a relationship and you ask your partner to move in with you. It's the step before marriage, I guess.
Wow. There's nothing before that? Nothing before marriage?
No.
That's pretty much it.
You tell me. I don't know.
All right. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. A contract granting use of property.
Lease.
To cause something to continue to be effective.
Renew.
Wrap up.
Pack.
To put articles in a case or container for moving.
Pack.
A building or an area.
Place.
A space for storing goods.
Storage.
Take care of.
Look after.
To create space for something else.
Make way for.
As soon as possible.
ASAP.
Good.
Decent.
Take care of.
Look after.
Let's try that faster.
Wrap up. Pack.
Good.
Decent.
As soon as possible.
ASAP.
A contract granting use of property.
Lease.
Take care of.
Look after.
To put articles in a case or container for moving.
Pack.
To create space for something else.
Make way for.
Take care of.
Look after.
To cause something to continue to be effective.
Renew.
A building or an area.
Place.
A space for storing goods.
Storage.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Lease. We are only leasing the apartment for 1 year. Lease. I didn't buy the car. It's a lease vehicle. Lease. According to your lease, you will have to pay a fine for destruction of property. Make way for. Make way for the king. Make way for. We'd better make way for that ambulance. Make way for. The company reduced its stock to make way for the new products. ASAP. I want you to clean up this mess ASAP. ASAP. Get back to me ASAP about the details of the deal. ASAP. If we don't finish this project ASAP, we could be fired. Decent. The city government was full of decent, hard-working people. Decent. The car is decent enough. It gets me from point A to point B. Decent. This is a matter of common decency. You should really apologize for your behavior. Look after. We're looking after my friend's dog this week. Look after. Can you look after my daughter while I'm away? Look after. I put Mary in charge of looking after the Jones account.
In today's story, we'll uncover 5 powerful lessons about managing money. Lessons you might not learn in school but are crucial for achieving financial success. As we dive into Sam's journey, we'll also learn some new words and see how to use them in sentences. This will help us practice English in a fun and easy way. So, stay with us till the end. Once upon a time, in a bustling little town, there lived a 27-year-old man named Sam. One afternoon, he sat on the side of the road, lost in thought. Despite working hard for 5 years, his life hadn't improved. Sam wondered if there was a way to escape poverty and achieve true wealth. As he strolled by a grand mansion, something compelled him to step past the tall iron gate without permission. Little did he know, this daring act would lead him to a life-changing lesson about money. From afar, he saw an elderly man sitting on a garden bench with a cup of coffee in hand. This man was Mr. Hayes, the mansion's owner, a wealthy but humble and generous soul. Sam approached him, politely apologizing. "I'm sorry for entering without permission, Mr. Hayes." Recognizing Sam, Mr. Hayes was surprised by his sudden visit but welcomed him kindly, curious to know why he had come. Sam took a seat beside Mr. Hayes and began, "Sir, I've worked for 5 years, earning a decent wage, yet my life hasn't changed. I don't splurge, but I just can't seem to get ahead. Do you have any advice on how someone like me could become wealthy?" With a warm smile, Mr. Hayes replied, "Anyone can achieve wealth, Sam, including you." He continued, "I'll share 5 principles about money that you won't learn in school. Follow these carefully, and I assure you, you'll find yourself on the path to financial success." Eagerly, Sam listened as Mr. Hayes began. "The first rule," Mr. Hayes said, "is to spend less than you earn. This is the foundation. If you don't master this, you can't move on to the other steps. For example, if you make $5,000 a month, set aside at least $2,000. If it's $3,000, save $1,000. Avoid expenses that exceed your income, whether loans or gambling. Even with a 6-figure salary, without this rule, you'll remain in debt." Sam nodded thoughtfully, absorbing each word. Mr. Hayes took a calm sip of his coffee and continued. "The second rule is to have an emergency fund. Life is unpredictable. Car repairs, a leaky roof, or even layoffs can happen at any time. Without an emergency fund, you're forced to borrow or sell assets at a loss, which restricts your options and adds stress. Think of it as your safety net, protecting your finances when unexpected events arise." Sam nodded again, appreciating the wisdom in this approach. "Let's get to the third lesson, which is investing. Now, people like you might feel unsure about investing in a business or stock since you may not have much knowledge. So, the best investment you can make right now is in yourself." Curious, Sam asked, "How, sir?" Mr. Hayes continued, "Take your skill set, whether it's carpentry, plumbing, or customer service. Invest your time, energy, and money into mastering it further. Learn where your boss sources materials or explore ways to market your services better. Use some of your savings to improve your expertise, attend courses, buy tools, or read relevant books." Realizing the value of these words, Sam looked at Mr. Hayes with newfound determination, regretting he hadn't learned this sooner. Mr. Hayes continued with the fourth lesson. "Now that you're gaining skills, it's time to start earning more. Once you've honed your abilities, maybe you'll start your own business and your income will grow. You're no longer paid per hour but earn based on what you produce. The harder you work, the more you earn." The sky was getting darker, yet Sam felt no urge to leave. He was eager to learn the final principle. Mr. Hayes looked at him and said, "And finally, the fifth lesson, create passive income. When you've applied the first 4 principles, you should have extra money. Now, it's time to let your money work for you. You can invest in property, start a rental business, buy a franchise, or research other sources of passive income. Think carefully and choose wisely." "How about it, Sam? Are you ready to take on these lessons?" Mr. Hayes asked, ending the conversation with a gentle smile. Brimming with excitement, Sam replied, "I used to just go to work, save a little, and hope for wealth to come my way. But I now understand that there's a real strategy, and I'm thankful, sir, for the invaluable guidance." Today we learned new words and sentences through this story about wealth and financial wisdom. Remember, learning English can be fun when you practice regularly. So, keep listening, learning, and growing. Make sure to like, comment, and share how this story helped you improve your English. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story, where we'll continue learning together.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Something is usual or expected. Norm. The money that a country uses. Currency. The sum of money required to reinstate. Margin deposit. Taking effect rapidly. Drastically. Very quickly, just a second. Split second. An offer to pay a particular amount of money. Bid.
Let's try that faster.
The sum of money required to reinstate. Margin deposit. Something is usual or expected. Norm. Very quickly, just a second. Split second. An offer to pay a particular amount of money. Bid. Taking effect rapidly. Drastically. The money that a country uses. Currency.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Norm. What's the norm in this company concerning protocol? Norm. This is the norm, so you'd better get used to it. Norm. Delivery, McDonald's, and street vendors are the norms around here. Currency. Before I went to France, I had to change some of my Canadian currency into euros. Currency. What's the currency in this country? Currency. My country's currency is worth next to nothing in USD. Margin deposit. He decided to start with a margin deposit of GBP 100. Margin deposit. I can't believe that I can trade with USD 1 million deposit when I've only put in a margin deposit of USD 10,000. Margin deposit. One has to be careful with trading using a margin deposit because the risk of losing more money than one has are high. Split second. The gang members were closing in on me fast, so I made a split-second decision to run instead of fight. Split second. My heart pounded as I made a split-second decision and took hold of her hand. Split second. My split-second decision to try a trick on my bicycle in order to impress my friends didn't end well. Bid. The current bid ask for EUR USD is 1.3998-79. Bid. I bought euros at an ask of $1.4235 and sold British pounds at a bid of $1.5001. Bid. The bid for Japanese yen and the ask for Hong Kong dollars are really good right now if you trade in US currency.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have an elementary level lesson for you. This is about fixing things.
That's right. So sometimes in our office or in our house, some small things may break, like maybe the door or the air conditioning. So in this case, we need to call a special guy to come and fix it.
So let's listen to today's dialogue, and we'll be back in a moment to talk about who this guy is.
The air conditioning is not working. We need to call a handyman before we start to fry in here.
Dan is on top of that. I think they are also getting the handyman to fix the bathroom toilet that keeps clogging up.
That would be convenient. They might as well ask him to fix the electrical wiring. The circuit breakers keep going out all the time. It's really annoying.
Yeah, you're right. This office is falling apart. Frank told me the other day that the gutters outside were clogged, and that's why the parking lot was flooded.
I know. I was in ankle-deep water trying to get to my car that day. The handyman definitely has his work cut out for him.
All right, we're back. So now let's take a look at some of those keywords and phrases on Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Our first word today is the name of this job. The person is called a handyman.
Okay, so that's a profession. You are a handyman. Now, what exactly does a handyman do?
Well, a handyman fixes things. He is usually a generalist. You know, he fixes things all over the house, not just the bathroom or the kitchen. So he can just fix things that are a little bit broken. But if, for example, your car needs a new radiator or it needs a new important part, you would take the car to someone who's more experienced with cars. But in the case of a handyman, if anything's broken, he can generally fix it.
Okay, so as Catherine explained, basically a handyman just does any type or many types of general work of things that may be broken around the house or the office.
We had a couple examples of these in today's dialogue, didn't we? What was that first one? Kind of gross.
Yeah, well, he had to fix the air conditioning, but then he also had to fix the bathroom toilet because it kept clogging up.
Okay, so a toilet gets clogged up. To clog up. What does this mean?
So it means that something is blocking the way of, the water being able to go out.
So the water doesn't go down.
Right.
And sometimes if the toilet is really clogged and someone tries to flush the toilet again, the water comes onto the floor and it's very dirty and very gross.
That's right. So actually, maybe sometimes in the kitchen, pieces of food may fall into the sink and it may clog up the sink.
Okay, so to clog up means to block or to get in the way of.
That's right. And apart from the toilets being clogged up, he also may have to take a look at the circuit breakers.
All right, so this is not about water or about plumbing. Circuit breakers have to do with electricity. And in this case, that box in your apartment or near your apartment that controls the different circuits. So sometimes if the lights go out, pew,
right.
You know that you have to check the circuit breaker and make sure that the circuits are all working properly.
That's right. So the circuit breakers are kind of like a protection from too much electricity, and that's why they go out. And now for our final word on language takeaway, something that also got clogged up at their office, we're talking about the gutters.
All right, so many people's houses have gutters, or sometimes an office building will have gutters. These are trays on the roof of a house or a building that will catch the water when it rains. Because, sometimes rainwater can be very, very heavy, and it's dangerous on your house, on the roof of your house, because it can hurt the roof. But if it comes into this gutter, into this little tray, then it will come down and fall on the ground. So these are a way to protect your roof. But these often get clogged up with leaves and with garbage.
That's right. So they're like small little ways or little roads, if you want to call them, where the water can go and escape and go into a specific place. We have them on the sides of roads as well many times.
So gutters you find on the ground. Sometimes you find them on the roof of a house, but those are a little bit different. The gutters on the ground are basically pathways for water to come down, because if there's no gutter, then all of the water is on the road and it can flood very quickly.
That's right.
And so this is a way for the water and even the garbage to go on the side of the road and not be in the way of the cars.
That's right. You see them on highways and roads very often because you don't want the road filled with water, so these gutters are a small path where all the water will fall into it and escape safely from the highway.
That's right.
All right, so that's all the time we have for language takeaway. Why don't we go back, have another listen to the dialogue, and we'll be back soon with Fluency Builder.
The air conditioning is not working. We need to call a handyman before we start to fry in here.
Dan is on top of that. I think they are also getting the handyman to fix the bathroom toilet that keeps clogging up.
That would be convenient. They might as well ask him to fix the electrical wiring. The circuit breakers keep going out all the time. It's really annoying.
Yeah, you're right. This office is falling apart. Frank told me the other day that the gutters outside were clogged, and that's why the parking lot was flooded.
I know. I was in ankle-deep water trying to get to my car that day. The handyman definitely has his work cut out for him.
Now let's take a look at 3 key phrases on Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Well, this first phrase is a phrase that I like to use, and I do use it very often. We heard that Dan is on top of that. All right, so we need to call a handyman in here, and he says, nope, Dan is on top of that. So to be on top of something, what does it mean?
Well, when she says Dan is on top of that, she's basically saying Dan is taking care of this, or Dan is already calling the handyman to come and fix it. So you are aware of the problem and you're trying to solve it.
Okay, so don't worry. You don't have to call the handyman. Dan is on top of that. Dan will call him.
Right.
So to be on top of something is to make sure that something is done. So you could say, Marco, I hope you stay on top of that project because it's very important.
Right. Or don't worry, the report will be finished on time. I am on top of that.
Great.
All right, now moving on to our next phrase. They were talking about all the problems that this office has, and the person said, well, they might as well ask the handyman to also fix the electrical wiring.
Okay, so this phrase "might as well" it's kind of hard to understand, I think, sometimes. Basically, what the speaker is saying is that while he is doing this, he can also do something else. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's here. He can fix many things. He might as well also fix the electrical wiring.
Right, so taking advantage of the fact that you are already doing something or you are already here, you can start doing something else as well.
Or maybe we could say this in a different context, like, we're going to order a pizza for lunch. You know what, Marco? Might as well order 2 because there are so many people here.
Right. So taking advantage of the fact that we are ordering pizza, we might as well get more for everyone. Okay, and for our last phrase, when they mentioned all the work that has to be done, they said the handyman definitely has his work cut out for him.
Okay, so if someone has his work cut out for him, it means that he has a lot of work to do.
That's right.
You can also say this to someone that you're talking to. So Marco's writing a book. And I say, hey, Marco, that's a really long book you're writing. It looks like you really have your work cut out for you.
That's right. Or maybe this project is really difficult. I really have my work cut out. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're basically saying I have a very hard time ahead of me. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's all the phrases we have for you. Why don't we have a listen to our dialogue one last time?
The air conditioning is not working. We need to call a handyman before we start to fry in here.
Dan is on top of that. I think they are also getting the handyman to fix the bathroom toilet that keeps clogging up.
That would be convenient. They might as well ask him to fix the electrical wiring. The circuit breakers keep going out all the time. It's really annoying.
Yeah, you're right. This office is falling apart. Frank told me the other day that the gutters outside were clogged, and that's why the parking lot was flooded.
I know. I was in ankle-deep water trying to get to my car that day. The handyman definitely has his work cut out for him.
So a handyman is also commonly referred to as a jack of all trades.
That's right. So these are both kind of funny words. First of all, handy as an adjective means useful or helpful.
So maybe a hammer is a handy tool.
It's a very handy tool. Or, I find my iPhone has some very handy applications. I can use the dictionary.
Right.
So a handyman is someone who's helpful. He can do many things. But a jack of all trades is very special because it means he is a person that can do basically any job.
Right. So sometimes in offices, people may have someone that they may refer to as a jack of all trades. So he may fix the computers. He also knows a little bit about marketing and does many odd and random things around the office.
That's right. You could say my friend Paul, he's a jack of all trades. He can fix a car. He can cook. He can, fix a door or a window, but he can also sew. So he's a jack of all trades. He has many, many skills.
That's right. And talking about these skills, being a handyman is not a profession per se. It's actually a trade.
That's right. And so we say this because it's something that you normally do with your hands, and you don't have to go to university to study it. You maybe have an apprenticeship where you study by working. And it's one of a few very, very important trades like being a plumber or an electrician. But a handyman is more general. Like we said, you can do many different things.
That's right. So very interesting. There are many trades out there. Maybe you can come on the site and mention some of these that you may know. Like, for example, a very well-known trade is a cobbler, a person that
makes shoes, right?
Makes shoes or
It's a very
fixes
weird
shoes.
word, though, because shoes and cobbler don't seem to have much to do with each other. Yeah.
Well, many trades like this. I know before there used to be blacksmiths. Right? So many types of trades. And of course, if you have any other questions or doubts, you can visit our website, englishpod.com.
We hope to see you guys there. Bye. Everyone.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Air conditioning. Handyman. On top of that. Clog up. Wiring. Fall apart. Gutter.
Let's try that faster.
Air conditioning. Gutter. On top of that. Clog up. Fall apart. Handyman. Wiring.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Handyman. My dad is a handyman. He can fix anything around the house. Handyman. The handyman came in yesterday to fix the leaking roof, and he also replaced the leaking faucet. Handyman. We should call in a handyman to fix the broken door and replace the broken window. On top of that, I have so much work this week. I have 2 separate projects due on Friday, a proposal to write, an interview to do, and on top of that, I have to make a presentation to my boss. On top of that, Sarah must be really stressed. She's taking classes at NYU, working 2 jobs, and on top of that, she still has to take care of her parents. On top of that, Kevin is so sweet. For our anniversary, he took me to a surprise dinner, gave me a bottle of my favorite perfume, and, on top of that, bought me 100 roses. The sink will clog up if you keep on dumping your food in there. The streets are clogged up with traffic every morning and evening. I am going to Walmart to buy something to fix that clogged drain. I am free any day of the week, so you can come in whenever it's convenient for you. Ever since they opened the new shopping mall down the street, it's become very convenient for me to buy clothes. Would it be convenient for you to pick up some bananas on the way home? If you're going to come to Shanghai, you might as well go see the expo. I am going to the convenience store, so I might as well get some dinner. Jennifer and Janice wear the same kinds of clothes, like the same bands, and even eat the same things. They might as well be twins.